Welcome my friends, the season 2019 is almost coming to an end, and I'm happy to say after my moving to the new studio, new house and everything, I can now do some racing, some serious racing. And so today I was at the Polish Cup. This is a serious race, XCO. I got second in my age category. I'm 39 years old, and I'm happy to say I see nice improvements because I was racing on this track last year. But what I want to tell you today is how this bike does after 3 seasons of usage. This bike is the 2017 Merida 96 Team. Awesome bike. I did review on this bike already, but today I'm going to tell you how it still goes after 3,000 of kilometers. So let's jump right into it. If you hear some wind noise, I'm sorry for that. I just wanted to do it just right after the race with all these feelings and excitement and all the thoughts I have right after the race. Number one, what I love about Merida, you know, I've been testing many bikes. I am not sponsored by Merida. I got this bike for testing. Actually, this bike can stay with me as long as it lasts. Number one, the quality of this bike is out of the roof, and here is why. I did about 3,000 of kilometers. The frame is super solid. I don't know how can you really update this frame, because this bike weighs 10.5 kilograms about, with not super light saddle, not the lightest wheels, these are the alloy wheels, and with the RockShox RS1. So 10.5 kilograms for the full suspension bike is just very good. No problems with the bike, and so I didn't make any maintenance of the pivots. None of these pivots have been overhauled for 3 years, 3,000 kilometers. Number two, the RockShox RS1. I know, guys, this is like almost the outdated fork, and no one is really using it. About 1,650 grams, so too heavy for many riders now on 29ers. It has a little bit of flexiness, so it's not very stiff, but you know what? 3,000 of kilometers, 3 seasons, no maintenance. And I didn't make any maintenance of it for the reason I just wanted to see how this upside down thing works, because as you know, the oil is constantly being put on the stanchions, and so it is battery smooth and no problems at all. Number two, and this is very important thing, cable routing on this bike. Even though it's the internal one, which I don't like, I would prefer external cables, but the internal cables on this bike are, because I haven't changed or cleaned the cables on the bike, and the smallest touch of the shifter transfers to the motion of the rear derailleur. This works perfectly. Another thing is also that none of the cables, none of the housing here is touching the head tube, so nothing changed for those 3,000 of kilometers or 3 seasons of training and racing. Another age category is just starting the race. Go! This track is as cool and as difficult as Nowe Mesto. See? Dajesz! Go! Guys, this is so cool. This is cross country. This is not a marathon. This is a true cross country racing. Okay. So, guiding the cables, awesome. The only place where I should have done some protection for the fork is right here. You can see that the paint is not there anymore, so there is some rubbing, but those guides for the cables allow the cable to move freely, so this is quite okay, but that place should be protected. Cable routing is well thought out, well made, and what I love about the bike, which is a team version, I would never buy team version myself because it's so expensive, is that it is also durable. Now, RockShox Monarch XX and the RockShox RS have one hydraulic remote lockout, which many riders complain about, that you have to bleed it very often. Funny thing, I did have to do the bleeding right after doing like 50 kilometers on this bike. It was a testing bike, so some journalists have been using this bike, and then I got it. So it was maybe like, I don't know, 100 kilometers ridden, and I felt like some strange noises in the system. So I did bleed the hydraulic lockout. That was 2017 or maybe beginning of the 18, and that was 17. Since then, no problems with the bleeding, so I didn't have to bleed anything here. It is very efficient. The kinematics of the 96, I call my sweet bike a Nini because it's 96 Nini. The kinematics are very good. It is very efficient. But when you lock the system, it's not fully firm. So when you are pedaling hard, like on the sprint, you have a couple of millimeters of movement, front and rear. Maybe if I was to use a less sag, that would be more firm, but it is not 100% firm. It's okay when you want to like ride off the saddle in such terrain, like let's say going up the hill. You don't want your suspension to move. Then it's fine. But when you want to sprint, you will feel that it is working a little bit. So I'm comparing that, for example, to KTM Scarp, which I was testing on the Shimano Media Camp. And I think that Scarp was much more firm than this one. But most of the time I ride with the lockout off. So with my suspension working, sitting on the saddle, having right cadence, working efficiently. Very good bike. This is great bike for marathons and for cross country as well. The next thing on this bike is the drivetrain, which was originally the XX1 Eagle. Guys, about 3,000 of kilometers, and we changed, me and my tester, because some other guy is also testing this bike, so we are putting more kilometers on it. We exchanged the chain a week ago after about 3,000 of kilometers, and the old chain was lengthened by 3 millimeters. So again, SRAM XX1, which is very expensive, which works beautifully, is also very durable. So I haven't found any parts on this bike which are super light, super expensive, and last for 2 races. All on this bike is durable. I love it. No maintenance on the headset here for 3 seasons. That it means something. It means that the sealing here, you don't have too much of a gap between the fork and the head tube, has been made very well. XX1, the older chain, the chain that we exchanged last week, sometimes would skip 2 sprockets down and then go back 1 sprocket, just as I was showing you on the NX. On the NX it happens like 5 times more often, but it started happening on that chain. On this chain it's sometimes, very rarely, but also happens that when you shift down the cassette, instead of going 1 sprocket down, it goes 2 down and then 1 up. So that's the problem that happens. My friend borrowed this bike and he crashed on ice, on tarmac on this bike. So the derailleur hanger was bent. We exchanged the derailleur hanger, and even though the derailleur was hit, it works flawlessly. Comparing shifting on the XX1 to the NX Eagle, huge difference. This one is much faster. All right, two parts I don't like. Number one is the saddle, and that's because it doesn't feel right to my butt, and in my opinion it's too slippery for uphills. For climbing, this is the Pro logo, and this is the Pro logo Xio Nago, XIO Nago. I don't like this one. This doesn't help for the grip for your butt. So that's number one, but of course this is like a personal thing. But number two, and that's definitely something I would not recommend use, is the SRAM Ultimate level brakes. These are not really strong. We had to change the pads into ceramic ones from disco brakes. Then it worked much better on the ceramic pads. But then, as you can see, the left one has failed, so we had to just exchange it for some old Shimano brake, which is old and still better than the SRAM Ultimate level. So SRAM makes wonderful drivetrains and lousy brakes. Shimano brakes are always better than SRAM. That's my opinion, and that's from what I've been testing. It's been always like that. The Team version of Merida has the highest grade of carbon. This is the carbon fiber 5. It is very light. You get also the Team alloy stem and the Merida Team carbon handlebars. We exchanged the grips to the ESI, which are wonderful, light and very good. I also replaced the original SRAM disc rotors for the disco brakes. These are the floating ones. Interesting thing, disco brakes floating rotors are lighter, stiffer and brake better than the original SRAM. So the brakes, you know, this is the Team version, you get the highest SRAM components, but the brakes are just bad. I would rather use Shimano Diore than these Ultimate level. Weird thing, but this is true. But as for the drivetrain, okay, XTR pedals, this is actually not the set you get with the bike, because you buy the bike without the pedals, but I'm using XTR, low profile, not super light, and I must tell you that this seal right here is done badly. So my Shimano 520 pedals last much longer than these without overhauling. So XTR pedals, so-so. And then the brand I absolutely love for the quality, that's the DT Swiss. We've got the DT Swiss XR 1500 wheels, if I remember correctly. Really thin for nowadays, 22.5 millimeters. These wheels got some bad landing from the drops, from the series drops on the cross-country races, and they are super true. I haven't touched the nipple on either front or rear wheel. Also the bearings, no maintenance for 3 seasons. I can tell you additional thing, guys. I just got the Yo-Leo wheels, carbon wheels on the DT 240 hubs, but I bought the J-band version. This is the straight pull version. What I can tell you, the straight pull looks amazing. It looks badass. It looks much better than the J-band. So just for the look, I would always go for the straight pull hubs. These look amazing. I often look at this hub spinning while I'm riding. So that's it. Of course, we went tubeless. I'm using the new Schwalbe Racing Ralph and Racing Ray. So 2 different tires, the front tire and the rear tire, working beautifully. So Merida 96 Team, if you're looking for super efficient bike, but also bike which will last forever. The only thing I had to maintain here is the XTR pedals. The fork, no, now it comes with the Fox 32, of course, but the fork, surprisingly, really working well. The brakes, SRAM brakes, I would replace with the Shimano brakes. Otherwise, just amazing. Even the RockShox Monarch XX, no problems with the bleeding. I did it once and that's it. Also the Merida Team carbon seat post, pretty light and cool. Maybe it would be nicer to have 27.2 instead of 30.9, if I remember correctly. And that's it. Really good bike, tested by me and my friend who's working for me as a tester also. Cool bike. I do recommend that you check out Merida 96 Team if you want to have something super light and super efficient for cross country and marathons. This is it, and I'm happy about my performance today. So cheers from Happy Danny. See you guys.